Hoy ahoy crew. Don't you hate when you have to manually spam your skills? You have to click over and over and over again, and it makes a lot of noise, your fingers get tired. Uh, it's a lot of work. Or even if you have to cast a self-spam skill like Wind Cutter, you still have to click a whole bunch of times so it keeps spamming. If only you could just hold the button down and it automatically spams for you. Well, there's a way to do that. Introducing Turbo and Smartcast. So to access Turbo and Smartcast, you technically already have them enabled in-game, but you need to assign them to keys. That way, it actually spams your skills for you. Otherwise, they're just going to be enabled on nothing. So open your patcher, go to the toolbox in the corner that says NovaEXT settings, and you want to go to the third option right here, Turbo. You'll see I already have Turbo set up. Now there's Turbo and Smartcast, which you can assign both of them to any of these keys on this virtual keyboard here. So I use F1, F2, F3 as my main skills that I use. So F1's usually like potions or backslide, and I want to generally spam it really fast so I can either heal myself or backslide away from threats so I'm safe. For self-spam skills, which is backslide, rolling cutter, wind cutter, anything that doesn't target but you still cast it. All of those skills, or potions as well, you want to use Turbo, which is option number 1. There's a little scale. If you click on any of these buttons, you can go to Disabled, Turbo, or Smartcast. The middle option is Turbo, the left one is Disabled, the right side is Smartcast. So we want it on Turbo, because that's going to be our potions. F2, this is where we have Wind Cutter right now. Wind Cutter is a self-cast skill. It doesn't target anything. You just cast an area around you. So we're going to use Turbo on that as well. And for F3, which is our Sonic Wave, it targets enemies, so we want Smartcast. The difference between Turbo and Smartcast is Turbo repeatedly uses the key, while Smartcast repeatedly uses the key and also clicks at the same time. So if you put your cursor over top of your target, it'll automatically target and cast your skill, click on them all in one action for you, so you don't really have to click any buttons. You can just hold down one button. It makes life a lot easier, and your fingers don't fall off. So we put this on Smartcast. One more thing, if your turbo keys are not activated, you will need to turn on Enable Turbo Hotkeys. It should automatically be activated, but in case it's not, make sure this little box is ticked. We can click Apply, Close, and we can go in-game. Alright, so now we're in-game. Let me heal, get my SP back. So before we had to do this with Wind Cutter. Just constantly clicking. With Turbo, we can hold it down. I'm just holding a single key, that's it. Easy peasy. Smartcast. This is our manual clicking. You know, we had to do this. Click on it and spam the key. With Smartcast, we can literally hold one button down. It'll spam for us. Easy peasy. There is something to note with Smartcast, is it can, if your FPS is really low, it won't spam properly, and sometimes it won't spam at all, and it just gets really buggy. One of the major problems that cause this is usually if your equipment window and your stat window are open, it drops your FPS by quite a bit. It's not affecting us too much here. My FPS isn't dropping enough. But usually if you're fighting monsters, or like a lot of monsters, or if you're in a big party and you have your windows open, your skill won't target sometimes. It'll just get stuck like this. And then it'll do it once every 5 seconds. So make sure you close any of those windows that you don't need open. That way you always have your best frames per second possible, so your spam rate isn't affected. One more thing it can be used for is if we go to town, we go up here and we talk to the tool dealer. Let's pretend this is all our loot from Gafenia. We farmed a whole bunch of incubus and succubus. And we want to sell it. Normally, you have to do this, or you have to drag it. It takes a while. Not very efficient. But if you have turbo, let's say you have turbo on F3. If you put F3, or you put your cursor above your item, you hold down F3, it'll automatically just go through it for you. I don't have to do anything. It just goes through it. It's very fast to sell everything, and very convenient. This is another thing that is affected by FPS. So close your windows and make sure you zoom in. If you're zoomed out too far, it can hurt the spam rate. But that's basically all there is for Turbo and Smartcast. There might be some other small uses, but those are the main ones that I know about and I frequently use. If you enjoyed this video or if you found it helpful, subscribe to the channel, share this video with friends, and I'll see you in the next video.